Hello, welcome in. If you're here listening to this podcast, that means you're destined for something great, and we both know it to be true. So without further ado, welcome to the Dark Matter Podcast. Hey y'all, welcome back to the podcast, and today I'm going to set the tone of this episode with this. Somewhere along the way, we were taught that it only counts if it hurts. But what if ease is the path to the deepest impact? And I really want to let that sit in. I feel like when we look at movies, TV shows, maybe our own lives, just from the coaches or the experiences that we have, sometimes we look at the perspectives as if there's no pain, no gain. And though that might be true in maybe the gym, is it true everywhere? Or is it not true in the gym? Are there other things that you can do? That mentality just doesn't fit. It maybe fit before, but we're in a very different day and age now where alignment, efficiency, the vision, these things matter more than just forcing it or showing up and forcing yourself to do the things you don't want to do, though there is some piece of that provides a different perspective, a different level of confidence, other attributes that you wouldn't normally get. I feel like there are a lot of things that lead people down that path of feeling unfulfilled and, more importantly, feeling lost in life, as we've seen a ton of different people in this lifetime, whether people we know or famous celebrities and people who go down this path and then eventually stop the entire thing. They lose themselves for a little bit and then they come out with the truth that no one ever heard, which is they were unfulfilled, they were unaligned, there was so many things that they weren't sharing, and this is really what it comes to, forcing yourself to do the things that society is made from us, that our clients want from us, that our prospects want from us. And this is really a big challenge. It's funny, there is this character, she's an actor, she's called Fat Amy. A lot of people know her from a variety of different movies and stuff. I think she was in Mean Girls or one of those movies, but she became a character and she wanted to start taking her health seriously and to better her life and to start losing some weight. And her agents and the directors and like all these movie directors started telling her, you can't do that because you're Fat Amy. And we need that Fat Amy. You can't lose your weight because then who are you? And it's crazy because imagine that, like you're trying to better your life and change your situation. But now the industry, society, everything else demands this version of yourself. And it's uncomfortable, as you can imagine. And I really want to dive deep into this because I've definitely experienced that. As some of you guys know my story too. Just sometimes doing the uncomfortable piece, it's helpful, but I wonder how helpful it will be. I look at my experience with Door to Door. That was the most uncomfortable 2 years of my life, and everything that I gained it's really molded and shaped me into who I am. But was there a different way? Did I really have to do that direction? We understand how important, for example, sales and negotiations are, and knowing how to talk to people, knowing how to effectively communicate and be cooperative, non-confrontational, not take things personally, have that thick skin. There's so many amazing benefits that came from that. But I just wonder if I put my time and energy into something that felt a little bit more easy, where things could have gone. For example, most of you guys now know that I'm a tech wizard. I love tech. This stuff comes so naturally to me. It's imagine instead of forcing myself to be uncomfortable learning the harder skills of sales and negotiations, imagine I just went all in with tech and I started learning the ins and outs and I started learning coding and I started learning graphic design and web design, all the things that took me not so long to learn now. Imagine I learned this stuff before and where I could be now. And I'm not saying I regret it. I'm not saying that what could have happened, should have, would have, could have. I'm not saying any of that stuff. It's just an amazing thing to consider as we're here looking at the current situation. And so I feel like there is a bit of the industry, and I've talked about this on my episode, The Game Changer, which is how a lot of the industry is going plant-based. Even athletes are doing this. A lot of the strongest people on the planet are now plant-based. It's just very interesting because the media likes to say that in order to be a man or in order to be big and healthy, you have to be eating meat or consuming dairy. And obviously now we know that's not the truth. Just like they lied about how cigarettes used to be the cool thing and it's the healthier thing, and obviously, again, we know that's not true. I feel like the next lie along the same plethora of lies here is that we've been programmed to equate suffering with success. It's like this whole thing of I need to suffer, I need to make myself uncomfortable, I need to do these things in order to create success. And though we all have our individual journeys and our individual lessons that need to be learned, I think it's really up to us to feel if it's really necessary or if we can go around it and not maybe necessarily feel the need to force ourselves to do these things. When I look across the board, we celebrate the entrepreneurs who are like sleep deprived, over caffeinated, always on. And this is it. A lot of people always look to those people like, oh, that guy's a business owner. They're always working. Or you see some of like the wealthy people, it's the wife and the kids are out, and sometimes it's the woman who's always working, but one of them is usually always working. Oh, he's always working. He's always on calls, but that's the life that we live. In order to sustain this, that's what they have to do. So there's always on calls. They're always handling fires. They're always talking to employees or prospects or clients or whoever. They're always working. And I just feel like that, at least for me, is not really appealing. That lifestyle, there's just so many different ways to get to that end result, whatever that end result is for you. And I feel like we really do look at this and we say, in order for me to be successful, I always have to be working. I always have to show up. I always have to do these things. And it leads us down this path of like self-abandonment. Like we almost give up on what our body is telling us, what our mind is telling us, what our nervous system is telling us, like what we want to actually create and become. We give up on those things, our internal narratives, to fulfill the needs of others. And it's, oh, I need to play this role, or these are what people want from me. This is what my role is asking for me. These are what my managers or my mentors or these people want for me or from me. So I need to create that for myself. And I feel like this is something that kind of keeps us, it's almost like it's a very interesting place to be. And if we can use it as a place to grow and to develop, that's fine. But we just want to be conscious of the chapter that we're in and be conscious of that's not always how it has to be. Because at the end of the day, we all have, and some people believe it, some people don't. Like we all have a predestined path that we're meant to follow. And it's based on the individual choices and the thoughts and the beliefs that we have every single day that shifts that path one way or the other. It's like we have an end goal, but the way to get there could be easier or hard. And it's up to us to be able to decipher which way do we want to go? Which decisions do we want to make today? And the decisions that I make today, how does that impact my tomorrow? My week from now, my month from now, my year from now, my 5 years from now, my 10 years from now. And not to put that information out there to overwhelm you on thinking that, oh, wow, like the decisions that I make today, I really need to be more conscious of it because this is what is going to lead to, again, my actions, my beliefs, my situation, my results. Everything that I do today is going to lead to everything compounding over the next little while. I don't want it to be a scary thing. It's not meant to be a scary thing. It's just meant to show that the way that we're used to doing things isn't the only way to get there. Like right now, it almost feels like our sense of self-worth is so heavily dependent or tied to how productive we are. And I feel like that is just, it's huge, right? Like you see some of these people that maybe have a 9 to 5 and it's like they're up at 6 and then they go to the gym and then they go to work and then they come home and then they cook and then they go to the gym again and then they go take their kids out to do some stuff and then they have karate in the afternoon. It's like they have this whole thing. And so we imagine because they have such a fulfilled schedule that their sense of self-worth, their sense of self-confidence, their level of success is much higher than maybe where we are. And I feel like this is so key, right? Like our culture, society rewards output, but it doesn't really reward alignment. It can if you start to shift your perspective to see it, but right now, our minds are wired to see more of, oh, that person's really working hard. That person's really doing the work. Like, it's easier for us to say, wow, that person is really doing it. Wow, that person's so busy. That person's getting so much done. That person's there doing all these things. But we don't really acknowledge that people are like, wow, that person made that look easy. Wow, that person is truly happy sharing what they share. Wow, I would love to find something that makes me that happy when I look at that person. It's easier for us to look one way or the other. And that's the thing. It's not about how much you do. It's about how intentional you are when you do it. And I feel like that is the biggest key when we're looking at this chapter where we're currently at and what we want to do. I've seen it all. And some of these things when I used to coach business owners and really mentor them, I used to see it all the time. People used to overbook their calendar to feel important, right? They would just book aimless calls, even if it's not moving the needle calls. They would just book calls. And they would feel like, oh, because my calendar is full, I'm important. Because my calendar is full, that means I'm moving the needle. That means I'm doing stuff, even if it's not. And it might be, again, not to completely discredit that. There could be things where it's like, yeah, you want to get the juices flowing. You want to have good conversation. You want to just stay in that. You want to keep a pulse on what's going on in the industry or with your friends or with these prospects or clients or anybody, right? We want to be able to keep a pulse on it. So I'm not saying it's completely ineffective, but just want to be conscious of how often we're doing that. And if we are equating our sense of self-worth or our level of success to that. For overbooking our calendar to feel important, that's a problem. If we're overbooking to stay up to date or to stay in the now, then that's different, right? So we want to be conscious of that. If we maybe guilt ourselves when we're resting, we don't give ourselves the rest. And it's when we are resting or we're supposed to rest, it's this constant need or feel of I should be doing something else. I'm not doing enough right now. And I feel like this is another one of those patterns that make us feel like we're not doing the things that we need to do. And I feel like that is just so important that we know and we're aware everyone needs to rest. Every single person on this planet, it doesn't matter who you are, even animals, every single being on this planet needs to rest, even plants. Everything needs to have its own rest time. And until you create a routine for yourself where you allow yourself the time to do that, it's going to feel like we're forcing ourselves. It's not going to flow. And that's going to be the next piece to this. Being in flow. And I've talked about this before, but that flow state, it hits differently when you actually enjoy what you do rather than when you feel like you're forcing yourself to do it. Comparing your pace to someone else's pace, right? This person is making so much progress quicker. This person made more sales than myself. This person is that. These things don't matter. Just focus on your own pace. Focus on what works best for you. And who knows what could happen when you're actually in alignment and you feel good about the way that you show up. Right. So this idea of I must earn my rest. I must earn these things. We got to replace this with rest makes me more creative, powerful, aligned. Knowing my own pace, setting my own boundaries makes me more creative, powerful, and aligned. These are the things that we want to continue to reinforce and affirm to ourselves. And we've talked about this before, the difference between inspired effort and desperate hustle, right? Inspired effort, it feels expansive, it feels exciting, it feels alive. For me, it's like coding. It's a big industry, it's a big world when you get into coding, learning JavaScript and Python and all these different things. And for me, having no coding experience, I'm like so eager to get into it. I'm so excited to start creating content where it's like how to's. I'm going to show you how to code this. I'm going to show you how to create this and connect it with automation. Like those are things that excite me, right? But doing like a whole masterclass on here's the top 10 sales objections and why you should master sales, and here's how you can continue to do sales objections till you're blue in the face. Like those things, it's a skill set that I have, but I'm not as passionate. I'm very talented with it, don't get me wrong, but I'm not as passionate as I am creating content about sales as I am about creating content with tech and automations and showing people how to systematize their automations and their operations to create a more sustainable business and life. Right? Desperation, desperate hustle feels like frantic, it feels performative, it feels anxious, right? All of these things. There's a real distinction between the two, and we need to be more focused on what resonates more with us, right? Building something with clarity instead of trying to prove something to other people, right? I feel like this is the biggest thing. And then we get into flow. Like we know what flow is. Most of us have experienced flow state, right? For me, I experienced my flow state in two things, gaming and when I played soccer. It just came so naturally to me. It just felt like the whole world slowed down and I could do no wrong. I eventually had to get there because the first couple of years I lost a lot after, my last episode, you guys heard that. So I lost a lot. I embarrassed myself a lot. I made mistakes a lot. I just, you name it. I wasn't perfect. But when I got to that peak performance, it was like I literally could do no wrong. I'd never lose the ball. No one could ever push me off. I always made the right play. I always seen things before it happened. No problem, all the time. And then even with gaming, it was just like my ability to see what was going on and predict the plays before it was happening. It came so second nature to me. It was just so easy for me to see the outcome of the situation before it happened, allowing me to be one, two, three, 4 steps ahead of my competition in those two areas. Now, even with tech, I'm starting to find, holy, it's only been a short while, and I'm learning things in a matter of days that it took some people months or years to learn. And so this is what it feels like when you're in flow. It just comes so easily, it comes so naturally to you. And it's like the time passes quickly or slowly, depending on how it is for you. You feel grounded, you feel present, you feel focused, right? The ideas come naturally. You're not doubting everything that you do, right? Like these are the things that really make you feel like you're in that flow state, right? And just be conscious of those things. Be conscious of your environment. Is it chaotic? Is it calming? Make the necessary changes to make sure that you're in a calming environment, right? Connecting to your why. Clarity reconnects you to your purpose. So knowing your why, knowing your purpose, these things allow you to really live in the now and not be searching and trying to find and overindulge, overexpress, overexert ourselves. It's not really the word I wanted to use, but we'll go with that for now unless it comes back. And slowing down the speed up, all of these good things. We want to move the pressure. Remember, alignment creates acceleration. Forcing just slows you down. I've been biking a lot again ever since my accident last year, and it feels great to be back on the bike. And the bike that Jess has is like this really fantastic bike. It's a really expensive one, mountain bike. It's got 20 different gears on it and it's phenomenal. And this bike, it's so interesting because when it's not optimized and I'm forcing it, you can feel it. So if the tire pressure is low, there's low air in the tire. If the shocks aren't kept up with, right? If the gears are maybe a little rusty, if I'm forcing these things, it feels like it's so much more work than when it's actually flowing. When I maintain it, it's wow, when everything is optimized, it feels amazing and it feels so easy. And you can just use that analogy for everything with our business, with our relationships, with whatever projects or passions that we're working on. You can see it. For me, another thing was like fitness. Whenever I used to work out, I would love getting lost in the gym, being there for 3, 4 hours. I love it. That comes so easy for me to be there. You know what I mean? And it's like we got to find the things that make us feel good, that we could get lost in, that we could enjoy in the quiet. And I feel like if you can sit close to those things, find that energy, and then apply that same energy and concept to whatever we see next that allows us to stay in that energy, this is how we're going to enjoy. This is how we're really going to feel good about what it is that we're doing. So I think this is it, right? And I think it's good to ask yourself, where are you forcing things that you would want to flow instead, right? Make the necessary adjustments, make the necessary changes, and try to create something. Choose one thing that you wish you could ease this week in one area of your life. And when you pick that thing, feel free to DM me, comment down below. I'm always happy to hear. Love seeing the progress, love seeing all the feedback that I've been getting in the comments and people reaching out saying how much they enjoy the show. If that's you, guys, feel free to do the same. Always happy to see that. And I hope this was helpful. And so, as always, y'all, I'll catch you on the next one. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, comment, share, subscribe to it all. You know I appreciate it. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one.